would you define a woman? Because you've asked other people up here to define how we would define a woman. How would you define a woman, Mr. Walsh?
An adult human female.
And how doesn't a transgender woman fit that definition?
So, again, I think Matt does a great job. It's been I guess a week or so since I watched it, so I don't remember his full response. So, but as I just noted, you have people say, well, female is different than woman, right? Not really so, but the argument was, well, female and woman is different. Woman is just about your identity, and female is about sex. So he says, so Matt says a woman is an adult human female. And so now the response is, how does that not fit trans women? How can you be a female if that's based by sex? So already we're getting off the rails here.
Female. Because they're not female. They have. You said that you are a biological male, correct?
I said I'm transgender. I might be intersex for all we know. About almost as many people in the world are transgender as intersex, and a lot of people don't know.
Well, but that's a different conversation. Intersex, that's a genetic anomaly, that's a medical condition. So that's a completely different conversation. That's also not a third gender. That's a genetic anomaly that occurs within the sex binary of male and female. So what you're saying is that a quote-unquote trans woman is a female?
By the definitions I'm familiar with, yes.
So how would you define female?
Through my training in healthcare, there are several different categories for how we define sex. People bring up chromosomes. People also bring up hormone levels. People bring up all sorts of other categories. Lots of people don't fit neatly into a gender binary, even people we don't consider to be intersex. It's a complicated spectrum.
It's not complicated, but you also didn't define. So what is a woman? What is a female? What do these words mean?
It's complicated, and I know you're not going to like that answer, but that's because there are no simple answers in human biology.
Let me ask you a question.
You guys,
hang
on.
So, there is a simple answer within biology. Like your gametes are going to define that it is binary. There's only two options, and just because there might be some kind of mutation or something along those lines, is still coming from the two binary. And even though that people may look more masculine or their hormones may be off or other things like that, that doesn't change who you are. So throwing out I could be intersex for all I know, I guess it could be true, but you're just kind of grasping at straws.
Just let me finish. You guys like to bring up high school level biology classes a lot. I get that a lot. But people who go on to more complicated biology classes will talk about sex as a spectrum.
It's not. It's not.
Well, biological researchers would disagree with you.
Well, then they're full of shit, the ones that would say that. There are male gametes and female gametes. Oh, I had one last question. I just had one quick. Can you come back for 1 second? Because this is an important question. You said you're an EMT.
Yes.
Okay, if you're responding to a health emergency. Biological male, somebody with a penis, is having a medical emergency, and they say to you, "I think I'm having a miscarriage." Would you check them to see if they're having a miscarriage? Would you consider that a possibility for them?
Look. No, but that's because...
And that moment is so great because it's obvious he's like stumped, but doesn't want to say. And that, like, look, I love that. But at least he admitted it. So let's I gotta you got watch his body language when as he goes on.
Some people don't have body parts. Doesn't mean they're not a woman.
Okay. Sounds like we've established there are some people who, in principle, can get pregnant, and there are some people who can't. So there's two categories, otherwise known as binary.
Lots of women can't get pregnant either.
Yeah, but they're still of the nature to get pregnant. The only
But
reason
they can't get pregnant.
Yes, but
truth matters, right?
That smug thing going on right there with his face. That's why I wanted to play this video and talk about this. And I've talked about this before. Yeah, there are women who can't get pregnant, and from the beginning of time, that has been a great pain for women, because so much of our value has been wrapped up in our sex and producing civilization, and it's a very important thing. And that's not the only thing we are as human beings, but particularly, as civilization was building itself and populating itself, there was a great importance on. There's a great importance on it now, and people don't I guess care like they should, because our people are like, oh, there's too many people. We're actually not even meeting our replacement rate in the U.S., but that's kind of another story. But women who find out that they can never have kids, who want to have kids, it's devastating, especially if they want kids and they can't do it for whatever reason. And it can be devastating for men too, if something's wrong with shooting blanks, But women who can't bear their children, or maybe they can, and they something's wrong, so they spend a bunch of money in IVF, which I'm not a fan of, but people will go to great lengths to be able to have children, and to throw out like, well, some women can't get pregnant, and then that snooty little look that he has, it's so toxic. It's so toxic. He doesn't belong in women's spaces. He doesn't belong in any sort of category as woman. And he doesn't belong in any category as an honorable man either, to use this pain that women have and to use it as a crowbar to pry open what womanhood is, to try to break in. He's an emotional criminal. That's what he is. And it's really disgusting. How this will come up time and time and time again. If women can't get pregnant and they are of the age of being fertile, being able to do it, normally there's something wrong, and you need to get that checked out. And maybe there is some kind of help you can get. Maybe there is no solution, and you'll just be barren for the rest of your life. That can be a huge point of emotional trauma for women. So for someone to bring that up, and it's not just him, a lot of people do it. Even women will do it, like these sicko allies who are, I don't know why they go to such great lengths to hurt other women who will just not affirm this madness. But it's cruel. I know women who had to have like hysterectomies, and they didn't know if they would have kids, and they went on and like adopted and other things, and God bless them, they have have their families in other kind of unconventional sort of ways. But that's what I wanted to add. This face here, that face, that I got you. And he even said, facts, you guys care about the facts. The facts are is you're a tool bag. And you don't care about women, and you don't belong in women's spaces, and you don't belong in the category of women just because you want to use the pain of women and emotionally abuse them to kick the door open and say, Johnny's home, or here's Johnny. That's not where you belong. That's not your place. And it's really, really, really sick. Really, really sick. And I've said this before. I'll say this again. Out of 7 kids, me and my brother are the only ones who were born with 10 fingers. Everyone else was born with like my sister right above me. She had 11, and the other ones had 12. It was just like, little nubbin growing out of, their pinky area, and they didn't have any bones. So they just tied rubber bands to it, or the first 2, I think maybe you got them just snipped off. But that's just an abnormality. It doesn't mean that human beings are born with 12 fingers. They can be, but you don't go to like anatomy class and teach that fingers are on a spectrum. Or you teach what we're supposed to be. If you were convinced that you were a mermaid, or in this case a merman, makes me think of Zoolander if you've ever seen the film. If you were convinced that you were a mermaid, and they're like, bro, no, there's no mermaids, and you pointed to someone who had web feet and was like, she, that's, no, you're just chasing a dream and putting down whoever you can to get to where you want, and it's sick. So let's finish this out.
It does. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Truth matters, and they can't get pregnant. That's the truth. So how are they still women?
Because they are.
I know we just had this whole conversation, but I forgot he was going to say more, and it just got more toxic, just progressively more toxic. Repeating that, there's seems to be like a little smile kind of on his face because he's just so glad at that point that he made, like, boom, owned you, and not caring about what other kind of collateral damage in his wake. It's just sick. It's not what women are supposed to do. It's not what men are supposed to do either. Men are not supposed to be this way. I know there's bad men who do bad, toxic things, but this isn't supposed to be what masculinity is. But I don't know how much masculinity he has left since he's tried to flush it out of his system.
For the same reason that I can rightly say that human beings have 2 legs. And if a person is born with only 1 leg, that doesn't call into question the statement that human beings have 2 legs, okay? A person being born with 1 leg doesn't mean that now legs are on a spectrum, and we can't say anything at all about how many legs a person has. Who knows? They could be a centipede. They could have 100 legs. No, we know human beings have 2 legs. If a human is born without 2 legs, something went wrong. They were supposed to have that second leg. Something went wrong. If you meet a person on the street who only has 1 leg, maybe they had an accident. Maybe they were in war. Maybe something, maybe they were in a car accident. Maybe they had cancer. A leg was cut off. But you know that something went wrong because by their nature, they're supposed to have 2 legs. Same thing for a woman. A woman by her nature can get pregnant. A man by his nature never can. So if you meet a woman of childbearing age, say she's 28 years old, and she can't get pregnant, you know automatically that something has gone wrong. And she can go to the doctor and find out what that thing is, even if they can't fix it. So that proves that women by their nature can get pregnant, because the simple fact that she can't shows you that there's something wrong. This is what is known as the exception that proves the rule. Whereas if a male with a penis can't get pregnant, no doctor on earth is going to run tests to see what's wrong with him. Because they already know it's that he's a male, and there's only male and female, those who can get pregnant and those who can't. So, that's it.
He just kind of shrugs a little bit and walks away. Shame. Yeah, but Matt did a great job with that Q&A. Really good job. Sometimes you watch things and you're like, say this. He pretty much nailed it, in responses that I would say, or I obviously did just say. Like I said, I didn't remember everything that he said. Then he went on to just say things that I just ended up saying. But Really good job for Matt.
Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you go to blacktnews.com and check out different articles, different videos, and also check out our merchandise. If you like what I do, you can also support at the website on the donate page. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and also that notification bell. God bless.